Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I give advices on self-development and mental health, and today I'm so excited for this topic. I am going to share how to detach from things immediately, how to step into a new reality, change your mindset immediately. For example, you've been procrastinating for days and days and days on end, and you don't want the last day to come before you start working on this, okay? And you can change that immediately. What do I mean by immediately? So there will be this transition period, which can be like barely 10 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 second, even if you can make it. I did it for 10 minutes and bam, the rest of my day went great. Went really, really productively. Bit of a warning here. If you're new to this, you cannot do this immediately, okay? It takes time, it takes effort, it takes practice. It is after, I think, 1.5 years of detaching from things, and that too, I'm not that great, honestly, that I was able to do this in 10 minutes, literally 10 minutes. I was able to detach from the current version of myself and step into a new version of myself. It takes time, effort, practice. So if this is a first time detaching from things and you're trying to do it immediately, just stop. Go to my manifestation videos, watch those videos first, learn about detachment in more detail, then come back to this video, okay? But if you are someone who has been detaching from things into manifestation for quite a while now, I think this video is for you. So you don't need for some major life event to happen, or for one day before the deadline to come, before your mindset changes and you actually start working on things. You can save yourself that trouble. Your choices are in your control, okay? I had an economics exam, and the 2 weeks that I got for studying for my exams, I, guess what, fell sick. And it was really annoying because I just had like 3 to 4 days where I wasn't sick. And out of that also, I think I spent 1.5 days being annoyed over, I did not ask for this sickness, why me, blaming the circumstances, being annoyed at things. Lots of things are happening. I was kind of stressed, right? And then 2 to 3 days before the exam, I decided, no, I don't want the last day to come. I know it's going to be stressful. I know I'm not going to be in the right state of mind. I know I'll get anxious and then I'll just mess up the paper. I knew that. So I didn't want to do it on the last day. But despite knowing this, I just could not get in the mindset 3 days before the paper to even start studying. Although economics is a subject I at times tend to be weak at. And that was when I discovered this method. You have to understand that any day, except one day before the deadline, you are living in a choice. You have a choice to either do the task or not do the task. You're living in one of the two choices. It's your choice, literally, to not do that task. You are living in this choice. But when the last day comes, you don't have a choice. You just don't have a choice. That's why you actually start doing it on the last day. So, the point here being, the choice to detach is what's difficult. It's not detaching that's difficult. It's the choice to detach from things, from this current version of yourself. And you're living in a choice that you created. You want this choice. If you're not living in that dream reality or that choice that you want to, you don't want it enough. You just don't want it enough. I know it takes some accountability to accept this, but that is what it is. You can pause this video to take a minute to accept this, okay? But once you realize that you're living in this choice, become clear on what choice you want to live in and why you want to live there and why you're actually living here. Become so clear. I had to ask, why am I procrastinating? Although this is a question I've asked myself many times and I've always come to the same conclusion, but I see that this really helps me in the moment to get in the mindset. And oftentimes your reasons for procrastinating can be because you're afraid of the task, because you're afraid of not being perfect. A lot of times it will just be your comfort zone as well. Because I'll be honest with you, it makes me so sad when I waste an entire day and at the end of the day I can sometimes be in tears, sometimes I can just go to sleep so upset when I do that. But I'll be so honest with you, it's so much easier to do that than to wake up and then to follow my schedule every day. That's tedious, okay? That can be somewhat of a task. So even if something made me sad, I didn't want to step out of my comfort zone, even if my comfort zone made me sad. Sometimes it can be just that. You need to become really clear on what you want and why you are living in this choice. And what is the choice that you want to be living in looks like. What does it look like for you? How will you be acting in that situation? You can journal on this if you want, because that really helps too. Sometimes you can think it, you're like, yes, I want this, but become super clear, okay? Especially if you want to do this immediately, you have to become clear. If you're doing it over a period of time and you don't really care as such, okay, you don't need to become so clear. You can just start slow and then you'll become clear automatically on the way. But if you want to do it immediately, you need to become clear on it immediately. And that only comes with practice. So if you're not able to, all right, realize that you have so much power. You have the power to choose the reality you want to be in. And for that, I want you to understand in this moment, just in this moment, there is no external world. There is no external world. Your inner world is the only world that exists at this time. There is no external world. All the things that are stressing you out, I don't care whether they're environmental stressors, biological stressors, psychological stressors. I had all of these, okay? You just need to understand there is no external world. There's nothing like that that exists. External world doesn't exist. It literally doesn't exist. Your inner world is the only world that exists. I don't care you are low on time. There's nothing called low on time. You're not in the external world anymore. There is no time in the inner world. If you still feel, a bit anxious about this thing of time, because I certainly did. I had an exam to prepare for and I was barely prepared. So keep reinforcing in your head by saying this affirmation, I always have time. Although there is actually no time in your inner world, but your head is not really looking at the technicalities, okay? Just keep saying, I always have time. I always have time. Keep repeating this to yourself. Whenever you find yourself getting anxious about time, keep repeating this, okay? So when you start realizing that there is no external world, that is when you get to your transition period thing. Now this transition period is different for everyone. I cannot tell you what you want to do in your transition period. It's literally, I will do this act and then I will step into something new, a new reality, something that makes you feel it. It has to be something you decide. For the sake of this video, let's assume that it's you journaling on whatever you want to become so clear on. Now, what you have to do in this transition period is to make that transition period, that small thing you do, an entire event. How do you do that? Think in terms of how can I make this moment the best that is possible? Because my transition period was simply scrolling through a list of things that motivate me, some facts that motivate me. That was it. That was literally it. It would have barely taken me 2 minutes, but I took 10 minutes on it. It's not that I read slowly. It's not that I got bored by it. No. I made that thing an entire event. How do you do that? For example, if somebody is reading a book, think in terms of how can they make it the best that is possible. They have to read one page every day, but they don't want to look at it as a task, okay? So what can you do to make it more enjoyable? You can get a blanket. You can be sitting in a bed. It can be nighttime. You can be switching on a lamp. There can be a scented candle there. You can be in your most comfortable clothes. That makes it so much better, right? It really makes you actually want to be in the moment, isn't it? So when you're journaling or whatever you're doing, I don't know, find a way to make it so enjoyable. Find a way to make it an entire event such that it's enjoyable. You can play some motivational music at the back. You can be using your favorite pen. I don't know. You can be writing in some specific format, add some inner joke to it, make a small drawing. maybe something like a symbol that represents something auspicious to you. I don't know, okay? I don't know what it is. What is it for you? I don't know. By the way, instrumental music really helps. It really helps to get you in the mindset. You have to make that thing be an entire event. You have to be completely immersed in the moment. That transition period is barely 10 minutes, barely 2 seconds, I don't know. But you have to be completely immersed in the moment. Completely. You have to make the choice to just be there. And you cannot be attached to outcomes either. You cannot be thinking of this event in terms of a transition period. You cannot. You simply cannot. I'm saying this to explain it to you, but in the moment, you must just be in the moment for the sake of it. You cannot, and I repeat, cannot be there to get something from it, to become more productive from it, to step into a new reality from it. No, 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 no. In the moment, detached from outcomes. You cannot even be timing that transition period, so to say, okay? You cannot be doing that. Because when you're in the moment, there is no time, okay? You always have time. Always. You need to be completely there. Few other things you need to be so clear on and need to keep in mind while doing this, at least on a subconscious level, is how would your best version act? I have been using this trick for I think around 1.5 years now. I've been just saying to myself whenever I find myself in a bad situation, how would the best version of me act? It can be your best version, it can be your favorite movie character, it can be anyone. So if I'm looking for some academic inspiration, I can be looking at some show in which the main character is such an academic inspiration, okay? And think of yourself to be in that vibe, basically. But what I personally prefer is that I act like the best version of myself, the favorite influencer, whoever. How would she or he act in this situation? I even have an entire journal on this. What does the best version of me look like? You can also be doing this in your transition period. I don't know, okay? I don't know. But you should be so clear on this. What is the best version of me like? It shouldn't be some perfect ideal girl. It should be you. Best version of you, okay? If you're using this, or you can just go for some movie character, okay? Also, know that past doesn't exist. I know I've said this so many times, but past doesn't exist. If time doesn't exist, past doesn't exist. Where is the past? Show me the past. Show me. Don't tell it to me. Show me. It's literally just a thought in your head. Like, what are you? You're just a dumb thought. Bye. Okay? Your past doesn't exist. I don't care you haven't been able to do this before. I don't care you have been feeling useless for the past couple of days. I don't care. You have the power to make your confidence go back up. I do not care. Your past doesn't exist. External world doesn't exist. Okay? It simply doesn't exist. I am saying it so many times because I want to drill it into your head. External world doesn't exist. You only exist here, okay? You decide, okay, I am this version of me and I'm so clear on this. Done. Done. I had already wasted half of my day, okay, when I started doing this. But then I just said to myself, no, day starts when I want it to start. External world literally doesn't exist. Time literally doesn't exist. Past literally doesn't exist. Day starts when I want it to start. I control things. Being hot is a mentality. You can step into it whenever you like. If I want, I can step into a reality right now where every single guy is attracted to me. I don't want to. Not worth my time. Thank you very much. But you get the point. So day starts when you want it to start. Things happen when you want them to happen. Time doesn't come for things to happen. You make the time come. If there is even a time. Like I said. I know this can sound so silly, but that's literally it. That's it. That's it. I know this will sound very simplistic to some people, very absurd to some people, very unrealistic to some people, but it happens, okay? It happens. You just have to find that transition period that works for you. I cannot tell you what it is. You have to find it out for yourself, but you really need to be in the moment, be present in that moment. Be immersed there. Okay, make it an entire event. Think of it, how can I make it the best possible? Do not literally take more time on it. No. When you try to make it the best possible and really immerse in the moment, you will automatically take 10 minutes on a task that is worth 2 minutes. You will automatically do it. Play some instrumental music. Then when I entered into a new room, my reality had shifted completely. But you constantly need to be in this mentality of there is no time, and you constantly need to be in the present. These are two things you have to ensure, okay? Rest all, if you've been through the transition period, you've been completely present there, done. Honestly, done. After this transition period, it would literally be like, I have literally fallen on this earth this instant. And I just have a situation. That's it. Past doesn't exist. You've fallen on this earth this very instant. That's it. Doesn't matter you wasted the last 10 days you got for the preparation. You've fallen on earth today. That's it. And only do this transition period when you really want to step into something new, okay? Don't just do it casually. Really do it. You know, there's something called the 17-second method to manifest. I never honestly did that method, never understood it as such, but now I'm realizing why it might just work. The average human attention span is literally just 8 seconds. Can you imagine? If you can just for 17 seconds hold that image in your head, that image will manifest. But that, I'm sure, must require an intense amount of focus. So here I made something called a transition period. Realize it doesn't require a time, detach from my outcomes, and bam. I have always been the girl who has been studying for like 10 days straight. Or like I started thinking in terms of that girl would be studying right now. I didn't even think in terms of this girl would be scoring well if she studied like this right now. No. The girl would be studying right now. And full stop. You're not doing it for marks. You're doing it just for finishing the assignment. Even if that assignment is the only thing you need to do to score marks instead of you doing the full chapter, I do not care. You're only doing the assignment for the sake of doing the assignment in the moment. You're doing it because you enjoy it. Also, don't be afraid to make your task more enjoyable. Do that. In those 2 hours that I studied psychology, I didn't even feel like I was studying. Honestly, I look back and I'm like, wow, was I really studying back then? Because it was not boring. It was not mundane at all. It was interesting actually. It was just like any other task. It was very interesting. Like learning about psychological disorders, interesting. Learning how the economy works, quite interesting. I didn't even feel like I was studying because I was so immersed in the moment. Sometimes also understand that you're more afraid of the idea of doing something than the task itself. Sometimes you're just afraid of the idea of the task. Just because people have projected it on you, just because people around me, students, often say studying is hard, whatever. It's not so difficult for me if I just start it. It was actually quite fun. This technique can be so useful, mainly because, for example, let's just say this is still a small thing that you're procrastinating on your task. Everybody does it. But let's just say you've been through some really major life events. And for me, it took me to get to rock bottom, for me to rise up again, for me to be completely broken, to start healing and stop procrastinating. It doesn't have to get to that extent. When you realize you can step into that mindset now and stop it, that's powerful, okay? That's so powerful. That makes your life infinitely better. Honestly, start doing this technique whenever you find yourself procrastinating. I am going to try it. I did it once. Changed things for me completely. So yeah, that's it for this video. That's literally it. Do share your experiences. I would love to hear that. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. Like and subscribe if this helped. Do share with your friends, family, etc. Follow me on my Instagram for more such advices. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.